Hello, let's take a look at writing task 2 sentence structure. Do you have enough structures to get 9? Do you want them? I'm going to show you the 7 sentence structures necessary to get a 9. You can also use this information at university, and the information works for the general IELTS writing too. So we'll learn what a variety of complex structures, which we have taken from the band descriptors, means. That's what you have to do to get a 9. We'll learn the punctuation. We'll learn where to use the structures. We'll write sentences that are university standard, and I'm going to show you how to write academically. Firstly, I highly recommend that you study the clear writing video in the description. This is the foundation of Band 9 sentences. So we'll start with simple sentences. We have subject, verb, object. This has to be clear because the examiner wants to see error-free sentences. If you read the bands, the more errors, the lower the marks. So these have to be very strong, and all of the other structures come from this being clear. If you write complicated sentences that the examiner can't understand, it drops your mark. Your job is to communicate clearly. If you have to communicate something simply, do it. That's a higher mark than being complicated in your sentence and being unclear, which I see all the time. Whenever I look at students' essays, the number one problem I have is trying to understand what they're talking about. So simplify first and then build on that. That's why that clear writing video is super important. Okay, so we'll start with simple sentences. We have subject with verb and object. Here's our question we have from the other video. Television sporting shows such as the Olympics motivate youth who do not like to do exercise. So young people love sports heroes. Subject, verb, object. Really super clear. That gets us warmed up in writing, and it has one clear idea, just one. Let's make it a bit longer. Young people love sports heroes and collecting their shirts. So we've added and collecting their shirts, which gives us subject, verb, object, verb, object. Okay? Subject, verb, object, and verb, object. Because these young people love and these young people collect. Simple, clear sentences like this get the idea across and get you a higher mark. Complex sentences. We have subject, verb, object plus a subordinator, and then another subject, verb, object. Okay, so we need to understand what this subordinator is. Young people love sports heroes as they are impressive. This word as is a subordinator. Other words you can think of that are subordinators? Because, after, before, which. Okay? So, here's another one. Although sports stars are impressive, comma, young people prefer Olympic athletes. This is Band 9 writing. It's showing a variety of complex structures. So it's clear and we understand what it says. Now, there's 2 ways you can use these complex sentences. You can start with a subordinator, although is a subordinator. Then we have the subject, sports stars. Then we have the verb, are. And then we have the object, impressive. And then really important here, after the end of that object, we have a comma. Then we have another subject, young people. Prefer, verb, Olympic athletes, object. Subordinator, subject, verb, object, comma, subject, verb, object. Now, if you just look at those and say, oh yeah, I know, that's not good enough. You need to practice these in your essays. And then you need a tutor who can explain to you if you're doing it correctly or not. Now, subject, verb, object, subordinator, subject, verb, object, no comma in here. This is the subordinator. Subject, verb, object, subordinator, subject, verb, object. Those are the 2 types. Use them both in your essays. Okay? So there's a subordinator and there's your subordinator. All right, let's take a look at compound sentences. So again, this is another good structure we can use to get a 9. This works like this. Subject, verb, object, coordinator, subject, verb, object. So, young people, subject, love, verb, sports heroes, object, comma, and, this is the coordinator, they, subject, like, is the verb, to follow them. Subject, verb, object, and subject, verb, object. This is a band 9 sentence. You can also use so, but, yet, and for in here. Okay, there's a few others, but these are the main ones. So here's another example. Sports stars are impressive, but young people prefer Olympic athletes. There we go. There's your compound sentence. Now, notice there is no comma before and in this structure. So actually, sorry, this isn't a compound sentence. This is subject, verb, object, object. So young people love sports heroes and, the and is in here, Olympic stars. So the young people love two things, sports heroes and Olympic stars. No comma in here. The comma is back in the compound sentence with another subject, verb, object after it. And that's not the coordinator. That's just and in between. So a really super important point for your marks. Using that and which cause problems for 99% of students. These words require a different structure and they're difficult to use, but you don't have to use them to get a 9. Not necessary for 7, 8, or 9. If you do know how to use them, that's fine, but really I see like 80% of students' mistakes are by using these words. So I would avoid them. So finally, a word on ideas. Many students try to put too many ideas into one sentence. Now, what does that mean? Each subject, verb, object construction is one idea. If you find your sentences are too long, or maybe you can't write the sentence, you don't know how to say, that means you have too many ideas in one sentence. Again, go back to the clear writing video and follow how that explains how to make this subject, verb, object very clear. This is one idea. Okay, and then we have our subordinators and our coordinators. Those things connect the subject, verb, objects in the complex sentence and the compound sentence. Okay, so if you're confused, go back and separate the ideas, if you have 3, 4, 5 ideas or you don't know how to explain, into these SVO constructions. Okay, so a complex and a compound sentence, as we studied, is 2 ideas that are related. Remember, it's subject, verb, object plus subject, verb, object is a compound or complex, right? So that's 2 ideas in one sentence that are related. They connect to each other. I like ice cream and I'm going to get ice cream. They're connected. Okay, there's one idea, and that is the connector. So can you identify the sentence structure in this, from this article? Here we have and, comma, and, so it's compound. So you can pause the video, read through that and understand that this is a subject, verb, object and subject, verb, object. So the key points to practice: separate your ideas into subject, verb, object constructions, get a list of subordinators for complex sentences, get a list of conjunctions for compound sentences, use a variety of structures in your writing